Oh yeah. I look like I'm in the dark jungle. I turn my head off far out. I'll quickly do a video on this. This is just, I am so grateful. Like, I don't know what's happening, but I have a beautiful, beautiful trader friend as well. I've got quite a few. And this person in particular, he has been sharing with me some amazing nuggets, right? So I combine everything together, right? Um, and what I don't what's it? I think his name's Dave. Is it Davio? Divio? Sorry, I don't know him, but he's got the strategies and he printed the strategies out. Now, if you already know me, like um, I've been doing like the money zones, right? Okay, and now what I'm doing, right? And if you know, like you don't need this indicator, but I tell you what, it is um absolutely brilliant, right? I have tools that help me to make a lot of money, right? Okay. And in here, right? So this here is like yesterday, not yesterday, on on Friday, right? Friday, the last day before the weekend, right? So I start my trading day off here in Australia after the market reset, right? So here is the Sydney Open, right? So then it goes in, I start off with my Sydney, right? And then I go into Asia, and then I go into London, and then I've got all these ones in here, right? So I take the zone, then I look at the market, right, on a whole. Okay. Just let me just pin this. Right, see, I'm calling it Sydney Sniper Money Zone. Ah, because it's just unreal, right? Like most people will get in here, they put one position in, okay? I'm not doing that. All right. In here is multiple, multiple, multiple positions on the 1 minute. You go down onto this time frame, there's even more. I'm not saying to take the 15-second buys, right? But I'm going to cover that for paid members, right? I'm going to go over that how I compound my accounts with this, right? Simple, effective. The market opens. Now, if I put this on nothing, because I always look at the chart with nothing on. I've seen like nothing on my chart. Where's so, oh my goodness gracious me. I'm crazy, I know. I know. Okay. So we have oh hang on, I'm too much of a high. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. So here's our zones. So whether you use indicators, whatever, right? I look to the left, look to the left, to the left, right? I see that this market is also trending up. Right? We've got high highs, high lows, high highs, high lows, high highs, right? So when it's in here and it didn't break this here, right? And it comes here and gives me this level and then doesn't make a lower low, right? I'm now looking, where is the market going? And it's because these zones, well, even like yesterday's highs, last week's highs, and all that, this session highs and lows, right? They all play a part. Okay. So the zones are like magnets, right? This is a typical liquidity grab where everyone has their stop losses. They want to sell, and the market goes, oh, thank you, right? And in here, right? So on Friday, the day before the market shuts, right? Before the weekend, right? But I do this every day. I go on and I put on, now I'm going to call it the Sydney Sniper Money Zone, right? In here. So I see these green, and I've traded this many times before. right? And I get in, I go 1 to 1. And in here, when this is an uptrend, right? Now, sometimes the market is a bit stale because there's no volume. So I make sure that I look at the candles because the candles will tell you, right? And that's what I mean about wickety whack. If I see wickety whack like this, right? When it's just wicking, it's wicked. It's just wickety whack. It's yuck, right? But in here, I can see that the market is opening with a bang, right? So I can come in here, take my money, right? All right, and I go down to the smaller time frames, take my money, and I can see this is above the moving average. Above the moving averages, right? And there's a space here, right? It's beautiful, right? So I get in, and then I get in on the pullbacks as well, right? So I use my tools that I have. And someone was asking about this with the spikes and the pullback. So if you're listening, right, this is where I look for my spikes, right? Okay, this is a little one here, right? Little one, little one, little one. And I'm watching this, right? See how this is going down, right? So I put it all together, right? And then in here, I'm looking for my positions, right? This is giving me my buys. This here, I'm looking for my patterns. This is the Asian and the Sydney, right? Where I'm looking and I'm only really buying in here because the trend is going up, right? Okay. Now, as I said, I go to these time frames and I compound, and then I use the next bit of money from one to the next, 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 right? This whole run here, if you just catch this, can make your account from 100 into something else, right? In here, and in here, and in here, and in here. Right? Very powerful. And for just basicness, right? Just getting in from here, boom, there's those arrows here, right? You can read the rules. They're in the in the signal sniper, the gum, whatever it's called, the gum thing, gum road. Okay. But this is all money, right? Money, 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 money. Right. And you can see these patterns in here. Right. So I'm a huge pattern. Right? If I put nothing on, right, this is a bullish pattern, right? And then I can come in here, right, bullish, and I know that this trend is strong. It's a strong uptrend. So I can come in here, and even if there was a buy here, right? Now, I'm not saying to do this, right? But you can either, if there's a buy here and you're in here thinking, whoa, it's going to go up there, and it has a pullback in a trending market, I will scale in here, right? And then when it takes off, right, I have my stop loss, right? If it starts going south, I'm not going to stay in it, right? But I'm certain that this is making high highs, high lows, high highs, high lows, high highs. Where's it going to? A zone up here, at least up to here. The probability of it coming up to here with this trending market is quite high. Now, I'm not saying it definitely will, right? But I'm going to come in here and I'm going to avoid. Now, you can use the dots as well, right? The dots are there to protect your account. You come on here and you have GC, right? Because you're a high risk taker. I use micros and I use low risk and I enter multiple times and I compound that money on my next trades. right? Using low risk, compounding your account and protecting your account, right? If you come in with this GC and you get a pullback on this, your account's going to be dead, right? So I use micros, and on Forex, I go in small, right? Because I have multiple opportunities to make money with it. The market just gives me multitude entries all day, all night long. And then all these different instruments. Okay. So it works the best, of course, in New York on ES or SPX or NASDAQ or NQ or MNQ. Right. If you have a 250K plus account, of course, NQ, right? You got enough in there. But if you have a 50K account, right, and you're not careful and you don't use the proper risk that's mentioned with the dots, then you're going to get in trouble, right? So I have different ways of trading so that I scale in, right? But that's me. You don't have to do that, right? But I know if the market, right? If I'm in here, for example, okay, and this doesn't respect this, and I see this kind of, I see this kind of stuff starting to happen, right? When the sellers, I'm not going to go and sit there in the fetal position, hoping that the market goes up, right? I'm going to go, okay, close the trade, close the trade. Let's get in with the sellers, right? Because the sellers are in control. And then I can get in on the pullbacks, make my loss back as well, and carry on through, right? It's very important as a trader to quickly analyze the market if it changes, because a lot of us have in our heads, oh, the market's going to do this, right? We trade what we think, not what we see. So when we're in a trade and it changes direction, we don't hope, we get out and then we make our money back. And we don't revenge trade, but we use smart, logical thinking. The market's going the other way. The sellers are in control, right? And then they can have a fight. Let them have the fight. We just take advantage of it. Okay. So anyway, if you have not gone in and had a look, if you've got the Signal Sniper Snickers, Signal Sniper. Oh my goodness, right? It there are some really good strategies now in there with the fibs as well, right? And when I go into this, I'm gonna open this up to the public tomorrow, right? Because I want people to see how easy this is and how, oh, you know, I've been trading for 10 years, right? I've got over 20 PAs with futures. I've got Forex accounts, right? I don't show my profits and all that kind of stuff. I show trades that I'm taking, right? Right? I don't have, I've got this thing about people always, it's like they're showing off how much money they make. And I can't stand that myself, right? Right. So I'll never go, oh, here's my account. Look how much money I'm making. Okay. Okay. You either just have the system and see how it works, or you don't. You know what I mean? Right? I can see it works. I know it works, right? And it is an indicator, right? That's why I have rules. That's why I have the certain, right? These certain moving averages, right? So when I'm on the 3 minute, right? just let me just put this. Where'd it go? Where did it go? When I'm on the 3 minute, I can clearly see that the sellers are in control. When it crosses over, right, the buyers, sellers, buyers, sellers. Now this happens all the time. So I go the 3 minute. I look at these time frames as well, always looking at what the higher time frame is doing, right? Whatever you want to call it, 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, right? The daily prints a daily candle, and the next is a daily candle that's green as well. I'm looking at that, right? What's the overall bias? Now the market moves and waves. So as scalpers, because that's what we're doing, we're getting in the market, right? We we get in on pullbacks and things like that compared to day trading. Right? We make quick money. I get in, I get out. We get in, we get out. Right. And of course, I mean, if you're in this kind of a drop, right, you can have a position in here, you can add positions, and you can scalp at the same time. Right. So boom, 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 taking advantage of this whole run until the sellers stop, right? Right? The world is your oyster when it comes to this. Right? Compounding is one of the most important, crucial elements of being a trader. You see a lot of traders that come in, they'll use the same lot size all the time. Right? If you have this in mind here and you can catch these buys, I mean these sells, sorry, these sells, right? And you have a plan, you come in, you go, you know what? Depending on your size account, you might have $100. Let's just go, you have $10. You might go, I want to build up my account and then I'm going to use that money, or half of it, right, to compound, right? So you might have 10 trades, right? Because you can easily get that. I'm not saying to overtrade, right? Depending on your personality, right? You might make $50. Then you can use some of that to compound on a next run, right? There's several different ways of compounding, right? There'll be traders that come in here and see this with this quasi, right? And they'll go, I'm going to go heavy, take partials, get in again, take their money or half of it or some of it, boom, 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 and just increase, 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 increase. Right? They're taking not their money, the broker's money, right? The trade money. But tomorrow I'm going to be on for when the market opens um, in Asian session. Okay, so I'm open that up to everyone, whoever wants to join in, because I want people to see how good this is. All right. Okay, so that's it. Cheers.